severely and moderately malnutrition kids every week. Because of the great need, we refuse to allow anyone to interfere with our activities. When a bridge broke down, my team and I walked 4 miles in the mud, wind, and rain. Now, a woman that walks 4 miles in the rain, and that would not let a fat fool like Two-Ton Christie and an idiot in Maine, LePage, stop her in her tracks. But the smile of a malnutrition child who had gained weight and seemed to come alive again made the damp and dirt well worth it. Patel found out this summer that Hickox was going to spend several weeks helping Ebola patients. He believes that before Hickox traveled to Sierra Leone, she lived in Fort Kent for a few months. She arrived there Tuesday night. Both Patel and Ornelas said they don't know how long Hickox would be in Maine, but they expect she will continue her humanitarian-based travels. So this is a decent woman, unfortunately caught up by corrupt political types like Two-Ton Christie and LePage. It's sort of like P.T. Barnum said, you can fool some of the people some of the time with these arguments of quote-unquote common sense thinking, which is a bunch of bull. This will come back to haunt them, I predict, because it's Ebola today, SARS yesterday, and what will be, as they say, the flavor of the virus next week, next month, next year. The SARS, of course, was an airborne virus, but they will be coming, no doubt about that. And some of these viruses are actually what they call weaponized, that can be used as bioweapons. That could appear, could not appear. This is a very, as they say, complicated, interconnected world, and we're waiting to see one appear that is homegrown here, not something that comes from Sierra Leone or from Liberia or wherever. They did have something in Dallas. In fact, in Dallas, they had over 100 people that they were watching under voluntary quarantines. There was also an NBC news crew with their head medical doctor. They were under quarantine because of the freelance camera type. Now, he had Ebola, and evidently he is free. And incidentally, Ms. Vinson of Dallas, the nurse, she's Ebola free now also. So that's another patient, but she and Ms. Fong actually cared for this man, and that is when they contacted it. Now, they are not certain, is it with Spencer, that he followed protocol with his protective gear, etc., but still ended up with it. So there's some things we obviously don't know about it. But what we do know is, if you haven't been in contact with an Ebola patient, around one, fluid somehow got you, so far no one has caught the virus. Thus, we should stop the hysteria and go back to the science. And as one notable person that headed the USSR Academy of Sciences said, science is science. Good day. We'll go on to Kaci Hickox and the interview, and also the lady Mayhe or whatever, speaking for the state of Maine. Good day, and we'll see you on a Friday Jobber on Friday morning.
A few seconds. How you doing?
I want to thank you for being here on a cold night in Fort Kent at our house, and I remain in good spirits, and I'm so thankful to be home with my partner Ted. I went into public health because I believe that good science and compassion can make a difference in people's lives, and that is exactly why I went to Sierra Leone to fight Ebola. It is not my intention to put anyone at risk in this community. We have been in negotiations all day with the state of Maine and tried to resolve this amicably, but they will not allow me to leave my house and have any interaction with the public even though I am completely healthy and symptom-free. I am frustrated by this fact, and I have been told that the Attorney General's intention is to file legal action against me, and if this does occur, then I will challenge those legal actions. Thank you for taking my message to the public, and I will take a couple of questions, but please don't shout at me because I'm a little nervous right now.
You said you intend to leave your house tomorrow. Is that still the plan? Do you intend to come out tomorrow?
I said I may. I'm not promising what I'm going to do right now. It's been a long few days, but I have not committed to staying in my house and agreeing to an in-house quarantine that I believe is not scientifically valid.
What do you say to people that point to the nurse who was self-monitoring, then got on a flight and then she developed symptoms? I think for those people, they're saying, look, it's some inconvenience for you, potentially saving, someone else's life. What do you say to those?
I understand that we can meet in the middle in many ways, and maybe travel restrictions is one of those ways to meet in the middle. In my negotiations, that was one of the things I was willing to concede with, that I would only travel in my own private car, I wouldn't take any public transport, and I wouldn't leave, the area around Fort Kent, Maine. I think that is something that we can all agree upon as a fair thing to do to keep everyone safe. But we all know, I think you've all read many articles, you've become Ebola experts over the past couple of days and even few months. And when someone is asymptomatic, there is no risk for them transmitting infection. So to prison me in my house for 3 weeks, when you don't know whether I will develop disease or not, and when I don't have symptoms, I am self-monitoring. I have been compliant with direct active monitoring by the health department of the state of Maine for the last few days, and will continue to be compliant. So I think there are things that we know work, and all aid workers are willing to do those things, but I'm not willing to stand here and let my civil rights be violated when it's not science-based.
Do you understand the state's position in that they're even though you're not symptomatic, they want to protect the rest of Maine?
I completely understand that the state's purpose is to protect the state of Maine. I have worked in public health for many years, and that has always been my purpose as well. But we have to make decisions on science, and I am completely healthy. You could hug me, you could shake my hand. There is no way that I would give you Ebola. If I develop symptoms, and there's even some evidence that, in the beginning periods, there's not enough virus in your blood that you're shedding virus. It's, still not perfect science because we don't know everything we need to know about Ebola because it's a rare enough disease. But, I don't want to hurt anyone in the public, but I don't think this is an acceptable line to be drawn.
You say you don't know everything. Is that in some ways actually sort of accepting what Paul LePage is saying, that if you don't know everything that you should be kept?
I don't believe so, no. We don't have any evidence. You can ask the subject matter experts that an asymptomatic person can transmit disease.
If the Attorney General does file legal action, will you hear about it and then decide what you're going to do, or will you, and if she does, will you just leave your house and challenge it, or will you challenge it?
My lawyers and I will discuss that when it happens. I have not been given any notice of legal action at this time, and once that happens, my first call will be my lawyers, and we, along with my partner and family, will discuss what our next steps are.
You said you want to find some middle ground. What exactly would that be ideally for you?
I believe the middle ground is this direct active monitoring. This is new as well in sort of Ebola response and aid workers coming back. It used to be that aid workers just monitored themselves, and really state and CDC didn't get much involved in these kind of situations. So I think that's a good compromise. You have an actual public health worker in your state coming to your house once a day to see you and calling you the second time. You're taking your temperature twice a day, and obviously if any symptoms develop, you isolate yourself, safely get to a facility that can test you and get tested. Again, there are some other things like travel restrictions that I think we can talk about that make sense. You know, most aid workers that come home, all we want to do is be with our families and have a little bit of a normal life. So I don't think anyone would be that upset if you said for the 21 days when you come home, we want you to stay, you know, around your house or in your city limits. I think these are some things we can really discuss, and there's no evidence to say that these things won't work.
What about the, you've presumably seen the remarks online that have called you all sorts of fairly awful names. What's your reaction to that?
You know, I didn't sign up for this. I flew into Newark Airport on the wrong day, and you know, this has all been a little overwhelming for me, but I still believe that I'm fighting for something much more than myself. There are so many aid workers coming back. Doctors Without Borders estimated that 20 American aid workers are coming back from the Ebola response in the next month, and it scares me to think of how they're going to be treated and how they're going to feel. So that's why I'm here today, and it's frustrating to hear nasty things, but
what's your feeling about Governor Christie and Governor LePage?
I don't have a feeling about either one of them. I'm sticking to the science and away from the politics.
Are you concerned, though, given the some of the negative reaction, if you were to go out in public about what it would be like for you?
I am a little concerned. This is one of the reasons I also think we need to educate ourselves and think about the whole issue, not just the fear. Stigmatization is a problem. It's been a problem with other diseases as well. HIV, for instance, most recently. And when we let stigmatization win, we all lose. So I think this is something we have to fight from the beginning. I have been told that if friends come to my house, they can't hug me. They have to stay 3 feet away from me. And I am not symptomatic. There's no way I could give someone Ebola, and you're telling me that I can't hug my friends after I've been fighting a really tough battle for 4 weeks in West Africa. It's painful. It's emotionally draining.
Could I ask you, Ted? I mean, you have no fears whatsoever
about being with Kaci?
Of course.
No, I mean none at all. I mean, scientifically, she can't give me Ebola, so there's nothing really to be frightened of. So, no.
Can you tell us what your plan is tomorrow?
I must say that I'm only thinking about 5 minutes ahead right now. So we'll see. I'm again waiting to see what this legal action may be. I have not received any information that it's already been filed or signed by a judge. So the ball is in the state's courts, and I'm just waiting, and then I will discuss with my attorneys what is the next step.
I'm a local reporter.
Hi.
Welcome to Portland.
Thank you so much.
We've had a lot of words of support on Mental Health Focus, and I'm curious if you had anything you wanted to say here.
You know, I am sort of new to Fort Kent, but we have had some amazing responses. One of our neighbors dropped off a jar of homemade maple syrup this morning with a note that said if we needed anything, we could call them, which is really amazing. So I want to say thank you to those people that have been so supportive.
Is there any chance you'll stick with the quarantine and stay in your home until November 10th, and fight afterwards
and
legally?
I think it's too much speculation, so let's take it day by day.
So if legal action is not taken, if they just sort of take their time, where would you want to go?
I also can't answer that either. Again, the ball is in the state of Maine's courts, so we'll wait and see. Thank you so much.
What are you looking forward to doing next?
I'm
going for a jog, going for
yeah, I'd love to be able to. What is the pizza place's name?
Woodstocks.
In town.
No, Moose Shack.
Moose Shack. I'd love to be able to go to the Moose Shack in Fort Kent and get an amazing slice of pizza, and again, not be worried about what people are thinking or if I'm going to get arrested by the state trooper if I walk outside of my property. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot,
for
guys.
being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll shake it.
Good night.
Nobody else.
Lieutenant in the Freeport Police Department, they received a call last night telling them that Hickox was spending the night in that town. We did speak to a number of people who live in Freeport, and they told us they are not overly concerned that she may have been there or still is in the area. They do agree, though, it is up to both the state and Hickox to ensure everyone around them remains safe.